Hey, good afternoon. It's Friday, April 29th. Thank you so much for being here today. Q&A Friday's coming up. I'm going to do a separate video for that because I did have several questions, and we didn't even get through them all today, but we'll take a stab at it. It'll be later on this afternoon or early evening. I'll get that video out to you. This morning, I want to talk about a question that we often have. Why do we keep on messing up? Why did I do that? Well, the Bible gives us some very practical ways to keep us from committing sins, bad habits, things over and over again. And part of the way that that's done is the connectiveness between the wisdom of the Old Testament and the exhortations and wisdom of the New. When the Apostle Paul is writing the New Testament, his epistles, the part that he has to play in it, we know from places like Romans 15 and others that the Old Testament writings impacted him. Well, if they impacted Paul and they impacted Jesus and the other writers, they should impact us. So the wealth of experience and wisdom that's coming out of the Old Testament, particularly in the wisdom literature, is something that the apostles are building on. And the ones who write the New Testament are building on. So here's a case where we can see a practical example of this. It's in Proverbs chapter 4. We read this. I'm reading from Bruce Walke's translation. It may be a little bit different than yours, but it's very close to the Hebrew. I think that's important here. Watch the track for your foot. Let all your ways be steadfast, be consistent, be solid. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. Now you see, there's a sense there as we look at the Bible and we hear these words. Well, how does my foot cause me to do evil? My foot's not the problem. Everything else is. But you see that the graphicness and the earthiness and the directness of the Hebrew is wherever your feet go, your heart has a place in that, because just a couple of lines up in Proverbs 4 says, whatever you do, above all else, guard your heart, for it's the source, the wellspring of your life. And then the three verses that follow that, verses 25, 26, 27, all have practical applications. Verse 26 is talking about, 25 is talking about your eyes and what you see. 26 and 27 are talking about your feet. Where your feet go. Watch where your feet go. That's why the thumbnail has, over the, you watch your step when you're walking on a ledge, or you'll fall over into a deep canyon and get in trouble. That's exactly the imagery we need to hang on to. Now, one of the ways we lose this is sometimes in our more modern translations, which many of them I like very much and use myself in my own study. But we have to be aware that they will sometimes go for the meaning of the text and not give us what the actual text says. So, for example, several translations, Ephesians 4:17. So I tell you this and insist on it in the Lord, that you must no longer live as the Gentiles do in the futility of their thinking. That's correct. That's the right application. That's what it means. I must no longer live as the way that Gentiles do, the people that don't know God and trust God. But in the Christian Standard Bible, the ESV and the NASB, they take the more literal translation directly from the Greek. Therefore I say and testify in the Lord, just the same emphasis, it's important, you should no longer walk as the Gentiles do in the futility of their thinking and their thoughts. When you hear the word, you shall no longer walk, that throws us right back to Proverbs chapter 4 and many of the other examples of Proverbs and Psalms and wisdom literature. Walking is important. Where you place your feet, the place that you choose to walk and go, it's a matter, where your feet go is a matter of your heart. That's what's being stressed here for us. So Paul's, when he's translating, when it says, when his words here, his words, when you should no longer walk, immediately throw us right back to places like Proverbs chapter 4. Keep your foot from evil. Because if your foot goes in the wrong place and you're not aware of what's happening, you're going to be influenced. Bad company corrupts good character. Where do you hang out with? Where do your feet take you? If you're online, where do your mental feet take you? That's the warning, because when we're people who are focused on guarding their heart and walking the way that God wants us to walk, watching what God wants us to watch, listening to what God wants us to listen to, not in the sense of rules as we've been talking about, but in the sense of what's going to build my relationship with God and give me strength. What Paul is saying is, don't walk in the way that everybody else does. That's not going after God and being consistent with God. Rather, walk in a way that guards your heart. So where your feet go, the practical things you do, the people you interact with, where you spend your time, where your feet take you. If your feet take you to a computer screen, if they take you to the mall, if they take you to friends that are not being a good influence on you, if you're having trouble with substances or other issues, or just the way you think about life or discouragement, where are your feet taking you? Are they taking you to where you're going to be encouraged? They take you to where you can listen to music that's going to build you up instead of music that's going to pull you into wrong thinking? Do you wind up in front of a computer screen that is going to bring honor to God, or one that is just the cynicism of life or the discouragement of social media, or where we're vying for everybody else's attention with likes and not likes? So when Paul says here, I say to this and testify to the Lord, I insist on it in the Lord, you should no longer walk the way that people who are not following God walk. Because the trap is just as deadly as that ledge that those feet are hanging over in the thumbnail. Watch where you work. Listen very carefully to Solomon's wisdom. Watch the track of your feet. Watch where you place each step. Don't let your foot set in the path of evil. Rather, have your foot take you in the direction of what it means to have a deeper relationship with God. Give me some thoughts about this. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com. If you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications. Videos will come right to you. If you have some more questions, send them over, because we're going to have Q&A Friday later on today. So cool to be with you, and you have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.